Subscribe.
We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
Just
But
saying, you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
I was catching up on my full swing, and season 2 has gone off to a really strong start so far. I've been very impressed with the product that Chad Mum and Co have been able to push out. However, and by the way, I know you haven't watched much of it. You haven't been able to make time for it, but there's no chatter about cut lines. Thank God.
Thank God. I was just saying. It was like every episode last year.
It was the running joke in the show.
It was like, well, if you don't make the cut, then you don't get paid. It's like, okay, yeah, we know this. Like you've said it like 15 times. Like,
6 episodes. I will say there's less media personality involvement in terms of explaining everything. I think that kind of is the growing pains of season 1. You have to explain things because, like, for me, when I watch F1 or their tennis show Breaking Point or anything like that, or even NASCAR, I don't know anything about those sports for the most part. So season 1 is a little bit more explanatory. But there's less media personality in that sense. It's more so just them discussing the actual storylines that are kind of going on. And, like, for example, I watched the episode with Tom Kim and, like, Wyndham Clark and I think it was Henny Koyak. It was like, oh, like, Wyndham's been in this headspace where he hasn't been able to find his way out, and therefore, and it segued into him getting a mental coach and discussing all of that. But the Tom Kim episode is the one that I most recently watched, episode 4. And I really want to, I feel like Tom Kim has been incredibly disrespected by the way they posed his episode. And, like, he's posed as this, like, I don't even want to say, like, lovable loser, but he's this lovable young guy who's carefree, won 2 times in his first, like, 5 starts on tour at the Shriners in the Wyndham, and then just, like, couldn't get, like, off the schneid of playing meh golf. Meanwhile, it's like every week he's finishing top 25. Dan Rappaport, who could sometimes be a bit of a dope, I'll admit that. He said, like, oh, his result at the Masters can go one of 2 ways. You either did good or you sucked. He finished 25th in his Masters debut. This guy finished 2nd at the Open. And I understand it was said prior in the storyline you're trying to build up to, but Rappaport goes like, oh, like his success in majors hasn't been very strong. It's his first year playing on the PGA Tour. It's only his first time playing in these majors. He's been a pro since he was 15 years old. He forewent college in order to go and play professional golf. I think the whole episode kind of paints him in a really bad light because, again, he's viewed as this early 2-time winner who's supposed to be the next Tiger Woods, and then all of a sudden just, like, doesn't get the job done week in and week out, when in reality, golf's freaking hard, and we're going to talk about it in 1 second. Cameron Young was the only person in the field this week at the Valspar to shoot 4 straight rounds in the 60s, and he lost. Like, not for nothing, dude. Even in talking to Ryan French, right? Like, you could shoot 16 under par over 2 rounds in a Monday qualifier and still not make the field. I think even this week there was a situation where, like, Soon Kang made the field at the Houston Open. He had 2 incredible rounds and edged out a guy because he had to make a chip in for birdie on the playoff hole because he happened to push it wide right. The guy shot like 17 under in 2 rounds. It's ridiculous to think that, like, people can say, like, oh, like you're playing bad golf when you're finishing top 25 every week. But again, as we always say here, you make a lot of money for coming in 20th, according to Kevin Kisner. And honestly, like, you can even attest to it, obviously, too. Like, there's no such thing as bad golf if you're at the very least making the cut every week.
Yeah, look. Is he related to Ian Rappaport by any chance?
Absolutely not. They look totally different.
I didn't think so. Okay. I just had to ask that question.
Don't put down Ian Rappaport like that. Koepka is
No,
a
no,
beast.
no. I wasn't doing that to put him down. I think he's very good at his job.
No, but if they're related, is it more of a testament to Dan Rappaport or Ian Rappaport for being the better reporter?
Ian got the superior genetics for his job over Dan if Dan was his brother, I think. Dan, to me, I agree. He kind of comes off as like a little bit of a dope. He's also kind of like riding the coattails of his buddy Matt Fitzpatrick a little bit too.
I wouldn't say that.
I will. I'll go that far. I think he's like kind of dope. And I think this just kind of quote results in majors haven't been what you expect from him. 2023 was his first full year on the PGA Tour, right? You know, like he had starts and he won at the Wyndham that prior year, but he wasn't like a full-fledged member.
Exactly.
Finished tied for 16th at his first Masters. Missed the cut at the PGA. Where was the PGA last year?
Oak Hills, Rochester.
Yeah, that's a hard golf course. It's
hard.
Really hard golf course. One of the harder PGA Championship like courses that they'll play. Then finished tied for 8th at the U.S. Open. Where was the U.S. Open last year?
LACC, another challenging golf course.
Yeah,
but no one had ever played until that Tuesday.
Unless you were like Max Homa, right?
Not even then.
No. Max Homa had played there in college. I think he had the. I believe wasn't it him that held.
You're right. Wait,
it was
LACC that he has the course record.
I think so. I think he did at the time, but I think someone ended up breaking it. Regardless, though, I'll continue to talk. You do research. I think that's an incredibly, and then he finished tied for second at the Open Championship, which was after that quote was given, I guess. I think that's an incredibly unfair remark about someone who has the ability, and I think is in one of the upper echelon of stars on the PGA Tour. I'm not saying he's in tier 1, but he's certainly in tier 2, I think, especially after how he played in the President's Cup. I mean, he was electric in the President's Cup. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's an incredibly unfair remark by Dan when it's his first full year on the PGA Tour. It's his first full year playing majors. And yeah, you missed the cut at the PGA. Well, you finished tied for 16th at your first Masters. The Masters is hard to play as a first timer. Yeah, we've seen guys play it. Like I know Tiger won the Masters in 1997. I don't even know if that was his first one, but he had played it numerous times as an amateur, right? I know Jordan Spieth won the Masters a couple times, I believe twice. That's a very difficult course for a first timer to play because it fits a certain type of player, a certain type of ball flight. You have to be an amazing putter out there. If you can putt at Augusta, you can putt anywhere. And then at the U.S. Open, it's the U.S. Open on a course where not very many players, unless they were born in Southern California or maybe went to school in Southern California, were very familiar with. And I think that quote it kind of pissed me off because it's like your job is to report and you're just kind of dogging this kid who doesn't really have who just literally doesn't have the years under his belt. And I could see him winning a major one day. I really could. I think he has the game. I think he has the attitude. I think he has the confidence. The quote just really kind of pissed me off because it's just like, dude, like your job is to report on this. And like the kid prior to that quote already had 2 top 20s and one of them was a top 10. And then after that, which I know the Open Championship was after the quote. That quote didn't age very well because he finished tied for second at the Open, which is a completely different style of golf than what you're used to playing in the States. So that quote obviously didn't age well either. So that's just what I think.
Not for nothing, too, also, dating back to last year's Scottish Open, he had 9 straight weeks to end the year where he finished in the top 25 or better. and of course, if you recall, post Open Championship at T2 is the playoff swing. Then he went to Europe for the BMW PGA. He played in France. He won the Shriners in the fall set. The DP World Tour final in Dubai. He finished top 20. The beginning of the year hasn't been the hottest for Tom Kim. I'll be open to saying that, at least for 2024. But 2 top 25 finishes at the Waste Management and the Genesis. It's been a bit of an up and down year. There hasn't, part of the game has been a little bit off, but again, he's a top 25 player in the world. He's 90th right now in the FedEx Cup standings. Data Golf ranks him the 36th player in the world as opposed to 22nd on the OWGR. Tom Kim's a really good player, bottom line. And he deserves a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation. And what I also learned from Netflix too, from Full Swing, was that Tom Kim, while you might look at him as a lovable, carefree kind of guy who's not necessarily easy to bag on because he's a bit of a fan favorite, but he also does have that grit in him. And once he finds that true grit deep down, and you saw traces of it at the President's Cup, once you can get a lot more of that, and you can see how serious he can get, and when he turns it on, he's going to be a force on tour for time to come.
He's also very young too.
Well, he's 22 years old.
Yeah, he's younger than me.
Dude's a fucking baby.
Yeah, he actually has a baby face. So,
I mean, most of those guys kind of do.
True, but yeah.
Well, there you go. Welcome in to Get in the Hole here. Stephen Ben back with you on another week for the PGA Tour. We've wrapped up the Valspar Championship. We now inch ever so closer to Masters Week in only 2 weeks' time. It seems so close, yet so far. While Cameron Young is unable to claim his first PGA Tour victory, we also get a look into TGL for 2025. A new movie is dropping that we very well might be intrigued in. And who can beat Scotty Scheffler this week? We'll find out. But first, Get in the Hole here is brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the industry. Founded on Long Island and repped by some of the biggest personalities in sports, including Chris Hogan, Kyle Harrison, and golf's very own Paige Sporanic. Tomahawk Shades is guaranteed to keep you looking fresh from the first hole to the 18th green and beyond. Head to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app on the App Store and Google Play Store and browse their selection of sunglasses, blue light plus glasses, and prescription lenses. As you can see, I'm rocking mine right now. And be sure to use code USP for 25% off your next order. We are also brought to you by Acorn Hills, bringing stylish apparel for on and off the course, all by using biodegradable packaging and plantable clothing tags. Acorn Hills, guaranteed to change clothing through conservation. Use code GITH15 for 15% off your next order at acornhills.co, and look your best from the ground up. Ben Pirro, Steve McAvoy here joining you. Ben, when's Cam Young going to finally do it? If he's ever going to do it. I feel like it's back-to-back weeks. We go from Xander Schauffele unable to close and getting knocked out by everybody to Cameron Young just coming ever so close to winning his first event at a dog track, might I add. Comes up just a bit short to a guy with the yellow ball.
Did you say a dog track? Innisbrook is a dog track.
When I say a dog track, I mean a challenging course that is hard to win on.
Okay.
Sorry, that's a horse betting term that I have leveraged into a lot more of my common day vocabulary, so I apologize for that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a beautiful golf course.
It is. And it's fucking hard.
It's really hard. Yeah, look, man, I mean, it's a little bit of the luck factor. It is. I mean, he shot 10 under, and I think I said last week, you shoot 10 under, you have a really good chance of winning out there, right? And he did that. One of only 2 players to get to double digits. Eventually, it's a little bit. I was thinking about this today. He has a little bit of that Ricky Fowler, and he has a little bit of that Ricky Fowler thing. And what I mean by that is it took Ricky a little while to win on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2010 was his first full year, and he didn't get his first win until like May of 2012 at the Wells Fargo. And it took a while. Everyone's like, "When's he going to win? When's he going to win? When's he going to win?" And I think Cam Young has a little bit of that in his career right now. Now I think he's more consistent than Ricky was. I think the difference is Cam isn't quite as flashy as Ricky. But I think Cam also has much more consistency to his overall game. And I think the fact that he's so consistent, he doesn't really have bad weeks. I believe it'll happen this year. I really do. I believe it'll happen this season. He'll get over the hump. And I do believe, unlike Ricky, who's like kind of won sporadically throughout his career, I think once the floodgates open for Cam, I think it's going to be a waterfall of wins for him. I do.
I don't know though, like what's the part of Cam's game that seems to miss out on his ability? He's one of the best ball strikers in golf. He's arguably one of the better approach players overall. You look at his metrics week in and week out, it appears that a lot of it comes down to the putter. I mean, he drives the ball incredibly well. He typically gains at least 2 strokes per event. Like we said, he's one of 2 guys to have made it to double digits under the card, and neither one of them didn't make it until the 16th hole on Sunday. So that right there just goes to show you how challenging the Valspar played, and the snake pit was most certainly a challenge for everyone. I mean, Peter Malnati got the best of him. He was a hole up, a hole in hand to play. Young was on 18. He had about a 40-foot putt from the fringe, 2 putt to make par and try and hopefully force a playoff. You can get there. While Malnati's on 17. Malnati knocks home birdie on 17, knocks it to like 15 feet, nails it. And Young tries for a lag putt, comes up about 20 feet short, and then makes bogey on the hole. Essentially forces Malnati to go double bogey in order to even come close. First shot left towards the first open bunker, and then just pins it to about 12 feet and a 2 putt for the win. It almost became it was so easy after that bunker shot. And part of me was like, really hope we can go to a playoff, because that morning I had bet Cameron Young to win. And I was like, you know what, like I've never seen a situation where you can outright bet this guy against a field like this, and he has more than a legit shot. And I'm like, I'll throw a couple dollars down. Unfortunately, my donation was for naught. But again, the week honestly just failed him. And this is what I think is his 7th runner-up finish on the PGA Tour in his career already, and it's been only 3 years. Like hold on, I have the exact number somewhere in our likes on social. Yeah, his 7th time in 60 PGA Tour starts. He and in those events, he's come in 2nd place. This is just how unlucky he's been. Cameron Smith, Max Homa, Sam Burns twice, Tony Finau, Joaquin Niemann, and now Peter Malnati. Those first 6 times, and not for nothing, like big time events.
Yeah.
Came 2nd at the Open to Cameron Smith.
Yep.
Came 2nd, I believe one of those Sam Burns events might have been the Valspar 2 years ago.
It might have been. Yeah.
The Max Homa event was the Farmers last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Finau event was the 3M, if I'm not mistaken. And the Niemann event was at Riviera. Like big time events. And he just can't seem to pack it in. And I'm dying to figure out when it's going to be. It's the same thing that we were talking about, like when's Ludwig Ober going to get his first win? When is, I'm trying to think of who else we've been touting, like Sai Thagala. When are these guys going to get their first win? And you just keep on pounding the number, trying to figure out, all right, when the hell is this going to happen? 60 PGA Tour starts just hasn't worked out. Maybe it's Tommy Fleetwood 2.0. 2 incredibly talented golfers just can't get over the.
Yeah. Oh.
Tommy Fleetwood, I feel bad for that man.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Especially
like he's into I think he's at like 170 now.
Oh, dude, it's a lot. And he's so good. He's so good. I mean, those two guys are freaking ball strikers too. They hit it so good.
But also, like, wouldn't be shocked in the slightest too, because because both of them are insanely talented. Their first wins on the PGA Tour could very much be Matt Fitzpatrick-esque and like win at a major.
Yeah,
I could very much see it happening for both of them.
I totally see that. Yeah.
But just dying to figure out when it's finally going to happen. But hey, you know what? Credit to Peter Malnati. The one thing that I have against him is that why you play a yellow golf ball is beyond me. It should make sense, but I just think the idea of a yellow golf ball just gives me old person vibe. So the TGL released their official teaser for the 2025 season. As you guys know, or have been living under a rock, a major rainstorm caused delays. The build out down in West Palm got broken. They now had to push back from a week following the college football playoff in 2024 to 2025. But we do actually have the video here for you. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can watch this great video narrated by one Ricky Fowler. Those listening overhead on social media, on Spotify and Apple and even social media, you can get a glimpse here. We're going to cut to this roll. Some exciting stuff. Triples, three on three alt shot. Interesting, to say the very least. I do want to give the TGL a lot of credit though, because they do have a really sick cast of people, with the exception of Lucas Glover. To be, I hate to hate on the guy, but like when you look at this grouping of people, the first person who immediately stands out as like, why are you here, is Lucas Glover.
Hey man, he won 2 playoff events last year. Give my man some respect.
Yeah, with those fucking sweaty ass pants.
Oh man, those are bad. Those are really bad.
Lucas Glover, for the rest of his life, should never wear any light color pants. Just stick to black and navy. But again, like an all-star grouping of players, whether it be Tiger, Rory, JT, Fitz, Morikawa, Fowler, Schauffele, Homa, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, the Tom Kim aforementioned, Cameron Young, Cantlay, Thigala, Wyndham Clark. Like this is a big time group of folks. And of course, Jon Rahm bailed out last second. We all know why that happened.
Yeah.
And I think Tyrrell Hatton was also supposed to be on TGL, and he bounced. So clearly that there's still a bit of a rift there. That's a fun little twist in the things. But hey, look, they managed to get a cast of, I think, it's teams of 24 guys that have 213 PGA Tour wins, 30 majors, and have spent 834 weeks at world number 1, where most of that obviously has been accredited to Tiger Woods. The only person that they're missing from this group is Scotty Scheffler, which I'm surprised they never actually did go out and pick him up. He would have made a great roster spot over Lucas Glover. But is there anything from the initial teaser that you are largely intrigued in going into their inaugural year in 25?
I just think it's kind of gimmicky, man. I can't look, in my opinion, I like for golf to be played on a golf course. And I think hitting into a simulator, I don't know. I just think it's kind of gimmicky. And I don't like players calling timeout. It's not it's not like in the NFL where Bill Belichick would sneak a timeout in there. It's it's freaking golf. Why? I think it's look, for me, I think it'll be great for the fans who think, because I think golf does need to be a little bit more exciting. This wouldn't really be the avenue that I would take, but at the end of the day, I think for fans who want a little more excitement, who maybe aren't as invested in the game as we are, I think it'll be good for kind of attracting that group into the game, if that makes sense.
I've only got 3 chief concerns. A is so it starts in January, obviously the same timing as the regular tour season.
Yes.
It's going to happen the week I assume the week after the Century, because it's going to happen after the college football playoffs, which would be the middle of January. So they'll avoid the Hawaii swing. But like, what if for some reason you get a rain out on Sunday and you're playing in what early part of the year is California? You have to go from California to West Palm Beach now to play a Monday event. Let's say you're in the Monday finish and you got to fly out and then immediately play more golf. I feel like there will come a time where these players are not going to want to be doing this or leave wherever they are, California, Texas, wherever it may be, on a Sunday in order to accommodate this. I think that's the one part of it that I think is a challenge. And then particularly once you get to like major season, if this runs through the summer, let's say, like you may have an event in like say Washington or I think Whistling Straits is going to host a major in a couple of years. Like if this happens in a few years down the line, you want to go from Wisconsin down to Florida for a Monday, even particularly if you're like in it on Sunday and the emotion and the intensity is like ramping up. Like if you find yourself in an off week at a bad location, you're gonna fly to Florida the next day to do this, and also you miss out if you're playing. Let's say that there's back-to-back like signature weeks or something going on that now all of a sudden you're practicing on a Tuesday, your first time at that golf course for the week. I think there's logistics here that are at play that I think is gonna ruin the quality.
Yeah, I mean, look, it does take place over in 6 different cities, so maybe they can kind of align it to where it's
No. It's one city. It's one location in West Palm Beach. They just represent the cities.
Oh,
So it's six cities
I don't like this.
that are owned by different organizations. Like Steve Cohen owns the New York club.
Of course he does.
Or the Cronkies own the LA club, and the Blanks own the Atlanta club, and the John Henry owns the Boston club. Like the whole reason for the city-based thing is for investment.
I got it.
And I'm pretty sure they're only going to play in West Palm on Monday nights.
I think that this is like the dumbest thing ever.
But you know what? Look, if it brings new eyes to golf, we've hit an era in golf that I think for the past 4 years we've seen year-over-year growth in involvement, equipment sales, and the like by over 45%, which is a great number. It's finally like we're at a point where I thought post-COVID people would start to kind of like die out on golf after 2022, possibly even the end of last year. It's just continuing to grow. All of these companies are getting more and more money. The only company that I don't think is making as much money as they had hoped is Callaway, because now allegedly they're trying to sell Topgolf, which I don't know why you would do. It's probably a huge money getter. Maybe costs like developmentally and maintenance fees, because you're getting a bunch of fucking moron people trying to go and just play golf when they have no fucking clue what they're doing. I can only imagine what the damage reports are for like year over year injuries and who's getting fucking whacked with a golf club, who's falling off the fucking things in the netting.
They should probably make people sign like a waiver every time.
They do, but also like
I didn't even know they did that, because I don't think I ever had to sign a waiver going to one, but it's got to be a new thing.
When you come home, we're gonna shoot some content at Topgolf.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna dice the shit out of you in some Topgolf, man. You're not gonna stand a chance, especially because I'm playing again now. I played 9 holes today. Oh man, you're in trouble.
I'm playing 18 on Friday at Southworth Ho. Very excited for that.
That'll be fun.
It's a very nice golf course. A Tillinghast course, by the way.
I grew up playing Tillinghast course. But
Where? Oh, what national?
No, St. George's.
Oh wait, that's in Stony Brook, right?
Yeah, Setauket.
Yeah, I used to drive past there whenever I used to go to the train for high school, because it's right by Stony Brook. Shit, I've always passed it, and I've always seen. Fuck, it's it's the main. It's one of the side roads. There's a green and then an elevated tee box right next to it on the right side of the road. I don't know which hole that is.
Yeah, so that green's the 10th green. It's all sunken down.
Yep.
Really easy to go long left out of bounds.
Oh, I have seen multiple car windows get busted because of people hitting it long and left.
then that tee box it's number 8.
Okay.
Next to that tee box to the left, if you're driving like towards University, that is number 7 green. It's a par 3. And then the elevated tee box past the trees next to the houses, that's number 4 tee.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play there. If we can get out there, we should make it happen. If we ever can. I know it's private, so it's tough.
They're so weird over there.
Are they really?
Really like it. The fairways are pristine. The greens are.
I can imagine.
The greens are some of the like worst putting surfaces I've ever putted on.
And yet it's pristine. That's funny.
They're never good. The greens are never good. Something's always wrong there, which is one of the reasons we left.
I'm actually playing an outing in a couple of weeks, I think, at Engineers in.
Oh, I played there. Man. If you don't know where to hit it, you are so screwed.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and I hear it's a brute, and I'm very nervous for it. The second you go to a golf course that's called Engineers, you immediately know that they easily made this way too challenging to even try and operate.
It's not that it's super challenging. The greens are absolutely insane from what I remember, and if you don't know where to hit it, you're totally screwed. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
It's a good thing that I can read them. I just can't hit them. So Happy Gilmore 2 is in the works, but because Adam Sandler has got 30,000 movie contracts ready at the ready. Are you going to watch it?
No. I never think that the sequel to any legendary movie is ever good. I've Ted 2 wasn't as good as Ted 1.
No.
Borat 2 wasn't as good as Borat number 1. Borat he's a top tier movie by far. Oh my god, so good.
There are very few films where I'm not even going to say the sequel. I'm going to say a iteration post the first movie.
Yeah, that's what
better than the first.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Even like Jaws. Like Jaws is like that. It's just like a classic '80s movie, right? Well, Jaws 2 was not as good as Jaws 1.
Caddyshack 2 was not as good as Caddyshack.
Didn't even know there was a Caddyshack 2.
There you go. That's your answer. The only movie that I think a sequel might be better than the original would be Toy Story. Maybe one of the Rocky movies.
What about Grown Ups?
Absolutely not. Grown Ups 2 is the worst movie of all time.
I think that because of Adam Sandler, I'm trying to think. Never mind. No, Grown Ups 2 is not good.
Awful.
Because Grown Ups 1, that was when they were at the lake house, right? And
Grown Ups 1 is a top tier, S tier Adam Sandler film.
That's when like the coach died, and then during the funeral they're like that. Yeah, never mind. No, Grown Ups 2 isn't good any good. No, I'm not gonna watch it, even if Paige Sporanic does it. So
I will watch it solely if Paige Sporanic is in lingerie.
Okay.
That's the fucking tweet. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to reveal one of the funnest segments, in my opinion, as we analyze not only Jon Rahm's Masters dinner, but what would Ben Pirro eat? The answer will not surprise you in the slightest. We'll be right back here with Ben and Steve.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from T-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
When I say it shouldn't surprise you in the slightest, you know exactly what I mean. It's going to be the most like bodybuilder-esque meal on planet Earth.
Bro, I've lost 16 pounds since May of last year. I am the opposite of a bodybuilder.
What you did is really cool, but the fact that you got your blood work done and are now told what you can and can't eat, while very cool, I think it's a very I'm not going to say questionable thing to do because I get it. You're a pro athlete, but I don't know. I don't have the balls to ever do that. But I digress on that one. We've received.
I'm not just going to let you say that and just like not say something back. You to everybody out there, look, I am not a health professional at all. Okay, I only go to the doctors when I am sick or if I have a checkup. Okay. It was recommended that I go to the give blood so I could figure out my blood type. And so, and I do not like needles at all. When I had to get blood work done last year, I freaked out when I saw the blood like going through the needle into the vials or whatever. I freaked out. The nurse started laughing at me. And so I ended up getting my, figuring out I'm a blood type A. And then I downloaded this app, which is a book, and it tells you based on your blood type what you should and shouldn't eat. Because if you're eating something that doesn't match what your blood type is, that can actually be kind of detrimental to your long-term health, essentially, potentially. And so, look, I think whether you're a professional athlete or not, I think you should do it. And look, like, I don't know, look, from my understanding, if you eat something that it doesn't match your blood type, it can be detrimental long-term. At the very minimum, it helps reduce inflammation. And whether you're a professional athlete or not, I think everybody should have the least amount of inflammation that they can in their body, especially when it comes to, your joints and stuff, if you want to age well. So, hey, I support it. I'm devastated I can't have ground beef or steak.
Or kangaroo.
No more lobster for me. No more crab or shrimp. I love shellfish so much. It's so good. I love flounder. I can't have that anymore. So a lot of my protein now comes from fish or chicken, which I think is the most boring protein of all time.
So, Ben, let me ask you this. So, it's funny that we're talking like Masters dinner menus, and we'll talk about Rahm's in a hot second. But last night, I actually went to the tasting for my wedding for all the wedding food that I'm going to be having.
Why didn't you take me?
What?
Why didn't you take me?
Well, first of all, you're in Florida. Second of all,
I would have cleaned up at that tasting, bro.
So, I'm going to go through some of the things that I tried yesterday. I want to know if you can or can't have it. I'm not going to worry about some of these apps because a lot of them is like salads. Like burrata. Could you have burrata?
I have no idea what that is.
It's like mozzarella with like a creamy like middle rather than a hard middle.
Look, probably not. Here's the thing. If I'm at a wedding or it's a holiday or if I win a tournament, your boy's treating himself. Okay? This is not like trust me. If I'm at a wedding and there's food in front of me, I'm going to decimate that thing.
I just want to let you know, and this was the absolute best thing that I had at this tasting. When you go to my wedding, the pork chop is the greatest thing I've ever had in my entire life. It's wait. It's well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's tomahawk style, double tomahawk. It's gigantic. Grilled and seasoned with black pepper, smoked paprika, chili, sea salt, and brown sugar, served with Brussels sprouts and potatoes layered with bacon, Gouda, and kraut with a honey jack au jus sauce.
Oh my God.
It was the best loin of pork I've ever had in my entire life.
I don't think I'm allowed to have pork, but at your wedding, number one, I'm gonna twerk so hard at that wedding. I'm gonna steal the show. Number two, I'm gonna eat.
That was the size of the pork chop.
Oh my God, dude! I haven't eaten dinner yet. Can we please get back on track?
You know what? Just for that, these are all of the dinner options that you can go with. Filet mignon,
dude.
We got the Chilean sea bass. We got a chicken, a ravioli, and salmon. The sea bass looks amazing. It's Chilean.
So good. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Anyway, so Jon Rahm, his dinner menu came out at the Masters this year. He will be serving a very ethnic style dish that we've seen pretty repeatedly in the last couple of years. Matsuyama had a very Japanese style meal. Scheffler, while obviously American, still had the very Texan style. Some of his meals are going to be like acorn-fed Iberian ham, Basque chorizo, his mom's famous lentil stew, which honestly, if I could have it, I would go apeshit for it. Spent Spanish cheese, a Spanish omelet, chicken fritters with confit potatoes. The first course is a Basque crab salad and potato. The main choice of either a Basque ribeye with peppers or a turbot with white asparagus. And a dessert is a mijoles de crema innata, which is a puff pastry cake with custard and chantilly cream, served in honor of the Jon Rahm. With that said, I want to ask you, Ben, you won the Masters. You get to host in the room. You get to let Jack Nicklaus hear your potty mouth for 3.5 hours. What are you serving the guys in that room? And what is Phil Mickelson going to absolutely want to puke up later on that night?
Why did you have to throw the potty mouth thing in there? I know it's true, man, but come on.
Oh my God, you would say fuck so many times that Jack Nicklaus would go, son, shut the fuck up. That man would walk out, and then just wait till Phil Mickelson starts talking about his gambling stories.
Anyway,
what are you serving at your dinner?
Okay, so I'm doing I would do a buffet style because I hate when I go to restaurants and the menu's limited. And it's like, I like the protein, but I don't like the carbs that are with it. Or I like the carbs that's with it, but I don't like kale. Like I don't like the greens that are with it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I decided to do a buffet style. For beverages, we're going to start with beverages, okay? Obviously water, pineapple juice, apple
protein
cider.
Shakes.
Shut up, bro. Red wine and white wine, okay?
I can't have a singular beer at your party.
No, because I'm not allowed to drink beer. It's actually bad for me. But red wine's good for me. So as an Italian man, I'm excited.
Just to get fucking cocked while watching Sex in the City later.
What? Anyway, for protein, we have chicken, turkey, and then we get into what makes me someone from Long Island. If you're from Long Island, you probably love seafood. We have salmon, cod, red snapper, rainbow trout, mahi-mahi, yellowfin tuna, Spanish mackerel. Okay, that's pretty solid, okay? Carbs, quinoa, brown rice, white rice, basmati rice.
Basmati rice goes so hard.
So good. For fruit, because I believe everyone should have a little bit of fruit. It's really good for you. Get that vitamin C. Blackberries, blueberries, pineapples, apples, avocados, which I thought that was a vegetable. Grapes, peaches, raspberries, strawberries, watermelon.
I think avocados are like the ultimate fruit. It's technically categorized as both.
I think it is both. I think it's like one of those super foods.
Yeah, superfoods.
I think that's what it is. And then for vegetables, broccoli, carrots, celery, which I could do without, spinach, asparagus, beets, really good for cardiovascular endurance sports. JJ Redick said that, so it must be true. Cauliflower, corn, cucumber, and zucchini. No dessert. What?
Grilled zucchini is amazing.
I know, it's so good. So yeah, that's what it would be.
And no desserts.
No desserts. No, maybe
Okay.
just like a protein bar. Maybe just give the guys like a protein bar or hey man, if I'm going to the Masters, my diet is going to be like perfect, and this 1000% fits my blood type A diet.
Dude's gonna give Jack Nicklaus a power bar, and he's gonna go, "What's this, son?"
I'll be like, "Oh, now you want to talk to me after telling me to shut the F up because of my potty mouth at the dinner table?"
Larry Mize is gonna sneak in a fucking pound of gin and just fucking be pounding it in the corner, saying, "Oh, this fucking kid, there's no booze here. The fuck's that? I'm here to play 2 rounds of golf, miss the cut, and just fuck around for the next 2 days." All right, so I went with the more traditional route. I'm gonna, and partially in honor of my wedding that I'll be having, I did have a few things that I actually took from this menu that I was very much intrigued by. First of all, for every person, or at least just like for the table to pick and pop, semolina bread with house oil and vinegar with some olives as well. So table bread for everybody. Very Italian American, and like Irish of me to have all these. For apps, it's gonna be family style. Pick whatever you want for apps. Short rib and mushroom risotto, shrimp rice balls over a vodka sauce, fried mozzarella, and mini shepherd's pies. The entree is going to be choice of either a veal cutlet parm with broccoli rabe and a side of cacio e pepe, a filet mignon served medium rare, only medium rare. If you order anything else that isn't medium rare or rare, get the fuck out of my place. Over asparagus, broccoli, and mashed potatoes, or what I call the lobster kiss, which is at my favorite restaurant called Vincent's Clam Bar right here in Westbury, also located out in Manhattan. Shout out to them. It's foil-made scallops and lobster in a cream sauce over spaghetti or linguine. It is to fucking die for. And then for dessert, I'm going to go with a vanilla sponge cake with cannoli and chocolate filling. Grandma's homemade brownie with a scoop of ice cream. My grandma made the best fat fucking thick brownies when I was growing up, which she still does. Like literally, it's like this big of a brownie, and it's thick. So like that with a hot scoop of ice cream. And then something that I've been making recently that actually I make a protein version of it using Rise protein powder. They're called Buckeyes. They're peanut butter balls coated in chocolate. I use protein powder and PB Fit for mine, but obviously this will not be like that because I don't want Jack Nicklaus shitting on me for giving him an overload of protein into his.
I really would not care what Jack Nicklaus has to say.
Hey, you know what? He's the elder statesman, and at some point, bro, it's gonna be his last.
Jack, it's my dinner, so I get to do what I want. So there you go.
I think it's funny how you went that route, and like obviously, like in the past, as of late, it's been very much like to your culture. Like Scotty did barbecue, Hideki did Japanese, John's doing Spanish. I think Dustin Johnson did like a very like boring menu. It was all like filet mignon and like peach cobbler. Nothing too crazy.
You know what, Steven? When I'm 45 and I have a six-pack and none of those guys do, who's going to be laughing then? Me.
I mean, you can't eat kangaroo. So the Houston Open this week. That's a little segue. The Houston Open this week plays host to what might actually be one of the worst betting fields in God's glorious history. Scotty Scheffler comes into this event at 3-1. It is the lowest ever betting odd line for a leader in the history of golf, even lower than any time Tiger Woods has ever teed it up at an event. The question is, can anybody beat Scotty Scheffler with how Vegas must know something that we don't? Because how he is at plus 300, and I believe the next highest guy is I think Wyndham Clark or Will Zalatoris at I believe 12-1. Let me double check that.
Wyndham Clark is plus 1,400.
Yeah, it's 14-1. Scheffler's 2 3/4 to 1. Wyndham is 14-1. Zalatoris 20-1 with Finau, and Thigala is 22-1. Vegas has to know something that we don't. I'm curious. Scotty coming off of his first start after his win at Bay Hill, at the Players. What do you think? Can anybody take down Scotty, and if so, who?
Look, man, it's golf, so it's obviously anything's possible. You know, it's 4 rounds, and the best score, you know, anybody in this field is capable of winning. That's why they're there, right? I definitely think it's possible. I mean, the odds are crazy, and like it. I mean, plus 280 to win. I almost, for the value of it, I don't even want to pick him.
No, you can't almost.
You know, there's just no value behind that. You'd be better served picking someone like, I know we're not there yet, but like Sahith Theegala, Jason Day, or like Keith Mitchell, Alex Noren, Siwoo Kim, like kind of like right in that area. There's great value there, I think, for a win. But as far as, I mean, look, he had a week off. Maybe he's cooled off a little bit. You never know. Then again, he also won 2 of the biggest events on the PGA Tour calendar that are not majors, back to back. So he's red hot, man. He's going to be tough to beat. And so it's also kind of a home game for them as well because they're in Texas now. So it's going to be tough. I think it would be more of an. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. It would be an upset if he didn't win.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And like the odds alone just kind of point to it. He's been bet down. He's now plus 260 as of right now. He's in the negatives for a top 5, top 10, and so on. Minus 150 for a top 5, minus 275 for a top 10. Every other player, he's minus 600 for a top 20. Wendell Clark's minus 140. Like the fact that you can get value for a top 20 play in Sahith Theegala and down goes to show you that there is a significant discrepancy here between Scottie Scheffler and the pack. And with that being said, as there is no additional information on the Houston Open, if you want to see our preview of it last year, you can go find that under the Houston Open episode. It's time for some beer money, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. You might be asking yourself, who is Kenny? Well, let me tell you. First of all, he's not a running back for the Eagles anymore, but he's smooth, clean, and bright with a taste of boot. He's the routine choice of folks who want a balanced, flavorful, no frills beer that is right for any occasion. Only 120 calories and 8 grams of carbs. Some call it the best light beer they've ever had. We say you can't beat the original. Head to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny tracker to find where you can get your hands on some ice-cold, refreshing Kennys from your favorite liquor stores in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and now Maryland areas, as well as the Wells Fargo Center to watch your possible playoff-bound Philadelphia Flyers. Go. Check them out. kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 years to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. Fuck the Islanders, too. They're with the twats. Top 20 at the Houston Open. Where are you going with this?
Never say that ever again. You know what? Look, I'm down 16-13. I think that there's great value in this pick, and I say this every single week, it seems like.
Scottie Scheffler.
Shut up. No. Sam Ryder. I'm going with him for a top 20. I know you can laugh. Look, man, you can laugh all you want, but Sam is going to prove me right because he didn't prove me right last week at all.
Sam Ryder is like the dirty rag of your picks every week.
No,
he just
used
and abused.
No, he's Mr. Reliable. That's who he is. He's Mr. Reliable. You know who? He's like Dustin Keller on the New York Jets back in the day, the tight end that they had. He was Mr. Reliable. Okay,
that's a good name.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've not heard that name in a while.
He had a catastrophic knee injury. It was ugly. It was really, really bad.
Top 20 for me. I'm actually going to go with someone who was really high up on the leaderboard at the Valspar this week and has shown some really good signs. I'm going to go with Mac Hughes, plus 220 for a top 20 for my friend Mac Hughes. Where is Sam Ryder? It's plus 330. Some pretty damn good value there too. Top 10.
Top 10. I'm going to go a little bit out of left field with this one. I'm going to go with Taylor Moore.
Interesting. Fun play. Where do I go from here? I'm kind of inclined, because of the valuation on all of these guys, you can actually get great money to take Wendell Clark top 10. Which is a kind of a crazy reality to be in. I want to take Siwoo Kim for a top 10. I think that's a really strong play. He always plays well in this period between the players and the Masters. He just can't seem to figure that out once he gets to Augusta. But I like Siwoo this week for a top 10. Top 5.
I'm actually going to go with Siwoo Kim for a top 5.
There you go. See, where the good minds think alike. Top 5, I'm going Tony Finau. Where is he? He's plus 450 for a top 5. You cannot get Tony Finau for that kind of money at a top 5 in a short field like this. That's a home run. Your gimme play.
Gosh, man, I got to tell you what. I really struggle with these gimme picks. If you look at my track record, I struggle with this segment anyway.
Take your layup.
No. I wasn't going there. You know what? I like Scott Stallings for a top 30 finish.
Ooh, fun. I'm gonna go back to the well on. Sorry, you're saying?
As who's the guy from Brilliantly Dumb? I can't remember his name right now. Bobby Fairways. As he said to Scott Stallings, give that man some shoulder pads. Give that man a top 30 finish.
Gimme for me. I'm going to go back to the well. He upset me this past week, but still has one of the top scoring averages on the PGA Tour. I'm going to go back with Doug Gim for a top 20 this week. And finally, your winning pick at the Houston Open this year.
I got to be honest, man. Like, I'm looking at people who are near the top of the odds board. I want to pick Will Zalatoris, but with the numerous back injuries that he's had, it always concerns me. It's anyone whose physical health is in question when it comes, if I have to bet on them, it always makes me a little queasy. I'm going to go with Sahith Theegala to break through. I think that kind of class of like Tommy Fleetwood, Cameron Young, Sahith Theegala, I think that group of guys, it's a really good time for them to break through. A lot of those high profile guys have gone to live, and those up and comers. I know Fleetwood isn't necessarily an up and comer anymore, but I think this is a great opportunity for Sahith Theegala, especially heading into the first major of the year.
Oh, it's a good pick.
Thanks.
I'm trying to find where is Siwoo Kim on. All right. So this is where I'm at with this winner, because I want to give someone I almost went back to back with Scotty and then Cameron Young. So I'm gonna put it in my head that Cameron Young did win, and I'm going to ride that and say I'm going to go back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97, 98. I'm looking for someone who hits the ball really far and really straight this week. It's a brute of a golf course. It's like 7,600 yards. It's long. The par fives are all over, I think, 580 yards. There's 2 par threes that distance out to over 230. There's a reason why Scheffler is so highly rated. It's because of the fact that his strokes gained off the tee and tee to green in general are just light years above everybody else. With that being said, there are guys who do stand out both on the putting green and on the tee box that I think have a shot to beat Scotty. The problem is that for a lot of the guys in this field, you're either really good off the tee and you're bad at putting, or you're good at putting and you're bad off the tee. Which is why I'm like really at odds end to possibly revert on my top 10 with Siwoo Kim and put him as my winner. Because I do think that first of all, his off the tee game is fantastic. It's ranked 5th on tour so far. But his putting is ranked 130th. Where is my other pick here? He's ranked 143rd. Keith Mitchell in putting. Questionable at best. Oi, this is where things get hard. I apologize that I'm taking so long to try and find this pick.
When you do this, it makes me really nervous because then you end up hitting on these picks, and I cannot afford for you to hit on these picks.
I have a crazy pick.
Oh God, this is where you just screw me.
He's ranked 14th on the PGA Tour right now in strokes gained tee to green. In how many events has he played so far this year? Oh, and he has 3 top 10s on the year. That's just perfect. In 21 rounds of golf, he has 3 top 10s and is 14th on tour in strokes gained tee to green. He's ranked 82nd in putting, so it's not anything incredible. But as we have said, with the exception of Matsuyama and Scheffler, it has been the year of the long odds player. I'm going to take an absolute crazy flyer at 110 to 1. Andrew Novak to win the Houston Open.
He went to Wofford.
One of the few guys in the field who can both hit it far and putt it well. And if anybody could give him a run for his money, that is Scottie Scheffler. I think Andrew Novak has got a shot. I do like Keith Mitchell this week. I like Siwoo Kim this week. I'm a big fan of Wyndham Clark this week, but the putter just hasn't necessarily been there. He's gotten upset multiple times. It would be crazy to see a third week in 4 weeks that it's Scotty number 1 and Wyndham number 2. That would be nuts. That would be like peak. Because Wyndham Clark right now is probably the third best golfer on earth. So that's a high praise to him. But Andrew Novak, and if it hits, I'm going to be parading around in my underwear for weeks.
Oh,
I just want to let you guys know at home. He has the same odds as a Sam Ryder or Rob McIntyre or Mark Hubbard to win. $10 will win you $1,100. So go bet it, because I actually might. Thank you guys for tuning in this week to another great episode of Getting the Hole. It's been episode 147. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube at Underground Sports PHI. Find us on all social media at Get in the Hole Pod on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you can follow me and Ben on our socials. Ben is Pirro_Ben, and I am at Real Steve McAvoy, even though there is no fake Steve McAvoy. For Ben, I'm Steve. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!